Okay, so there's two things that have been away way too long. One is me, and the other one is Ultraman, which first premiered on Netflix back in 2019. So we had to wait like 3 years until the show would basically come back. And the problem with having these very long hiatuses is that first, the fan base that initially gets there may have forgotten totally this show and may not care anymore. Good examples being Blue Exorcist, One Punch Man, or D. Grayman, which were really popular during their first premiere, but once they came back, the hype wasn't on the same level as it was initially. Now, obviously, Ultraman is a bit different than those three because it's like a multi-IP franchise in the sense that there's like games, live action movies, and things that are being constantly produced around Ultraman. So perhaps people in Japan haven't exactly forgotten Ultraman, but still, like, for maybe on the people on the West, it's quite a long wait, and I actually had forgotten most of the stuff. Luckily, I did review the first season, so I could go watch back my first season review, which I'm going to link on the corner to kind of recap of the things that basically happened on the first season. Now, one of the other disappointments regarding this delay is that the first season was still 13 episodes, and now we only got like 6 episodes, and like, oh, you were only able to produce like that much, you know, in such a long time span. And obviously we had Corona and other delays probably in terms of these studios, which are always like super booked because of the time crunches and not having enough people working on there. But still, like, Sola and IG Productions, or Production IG, did a pretty solid job with like the animation. It didn't look sloppy. As I did say on the first season review, it's very high-end animation for the CGI art style or 3D art style, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, whatever it's like background props or just the fight scenes or special effects, it's all looks pretty solid to me, and I have nothing to really complain about it. But there's always those people who are really, really super focused on the aesthetic aspects of anime who are going to be obviously crying about it. Now, this 6-episode arc, as we call it, kind of really feels that it's like a part one of a bigger season. So they have announced that there's going to be season 3. I also read something about movie, which might be the conclusion after season 3. I also am not sure whatever season 3 is going to be breaking down into 2 parts or something. But this is kind of like a kickstart for a bigger arc, so to speak. Now, I kind of liked the first season because it delved into many different things and kind of showed the aliens in their, you know, the part of the city where they were hiding. There's not really much of that in this season. Actually, like, not that much actually takes place in the 6 episodes. We are introduced to a couple of new Ultramans. I don't really know like how many there are in the real canon, but maybe perhaps my problem here is that, you know, I mean, these are, you know, re-visualized in some aspects, these suits and everything, but I still feel that a couple of them look way too similar to each other, and I guess, like, at least with the Power Rangers, they're different colors, but it doesn't really feel that variety because everybody has, like, a red, you know, in the armor, and then obviously there's a couple of ones which are, like, fully, like, silver and gray colors, but yeah, they kind of look similar, but obviously they have different types of abilities and effects which kind of make them stand out, and obviously one of them, you know, wears a sword. As for like the OST, I don't remember the OP and the ED from the first season. I don't remember actually there being one, but this one actually, the opening, pretty solid, and the ending wasn't half bad either. So musically, I thought it was a pretty solid season, something that kind of stuck out a bit more than usual. Not something that I would go to, you know, listen outside, you know, watching the anime, but nonetheless, I thought it was, you know, decent. But as like the season 2 goes, it maybe had less to do with the interpolitics between the aliens and the humans, and it was a lot more action-packed perhaps than story-focused. And maybe I would have wished perhaps to see a bit more of that story-based storytelling. I mean, that doesn't even make sense, but like I felt like that there was more meat to the bone in the first season and perhaps something of a mystery, like what's going on. Aside from the, you know, season 2 low-key cliffhanger, which is alluded of something is coming or something bad is going to be happening soon, not much was really in the shroud of mystery here. So it's very like streamlined of, you know, focusing on introducing one of these new Ultramans, and then, you know, kind of bit of his, I guess, well, it doesn't really get a lot of background story, you just get a bit of an introduction arc for him, and if you can call it that, and then it's like the rest of it's like pretty much fighting all around. And I just felt like maybe there could have been more things, you know, done here. Maybe there could have been more episodes, but I guess it's also very expensive to do this form of animation because it seems, I don't know even what engines that they are using. It seems that in Japan they don't want to use even Unreal Engine, which is kind of odd to me, but hey, you know, they do what they do and that's fine with me. Now, overall, I still like recommend getting into Ultraman because if you're not into mechas, I still think you can enjoy this because it's not exactly a mecha, it's just people using power suits all together. And there are some, like, you know, a bit of mecha or kaiju elements there, a little, but for the most part, it's like sci-fi. And I enjoyed. And I did mention on the first season review that I might like visit some of the older titles, and I'm still considering that. I have a massive backlog of shows to watch, like live action and, you know, anime, and don't expect such a long hiatus from this review to the next. I am like watching multiple shows, you know, and just haven't really finished any of them, but I like you know, many irons on the fire, so to speak. But as always, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment. Are you still interested in Ultraman if you watched the first season? Like, does the season 2 hold up as well as the first season? Yada yada yada. I will be seeing you guys on the next video. Cheers.